And we are live yet again. So, welcome back. Welcome back to the Authority Hour, where we're turning your digital footprint into your greatest asset. My man Ronnie Haskins,
What's up?
and I'm Jesse Bullock. So, the grind persists. How was your week, my brother?
A lot of grind. A lot of grind. I'm trying to process it right now because we start doing this podcast, I'm like in the middle of my day. So I was working. I was actually putting out content this morning and writing copy and doing all that. And then so my brain has been in a different place. But now I'm coming back around like, all right, how's the week been? I think the week's been great. I'm healthy and I'm happy.
Incredible, incredible. So, talk about how the extension of your authority has gone this week relative to what we was talking about with your team moving into their positions, because as you're continuing to spread your influence online, and you got people driving up to 2 hours to come see you, when they come into the office, this infrastructure that you have designed ensures that they get the quality of service, thus reinforcing your authority. So kind of speak to that a little bit.
So the people that we're talking about that have contacted me are not looking to buy cars. They're contacting me because they want to learn how to get into the auto broker business and build their own auto brokerage, like you see here. So this is what they are interested in talking to me about. Um, I had two more people this week reach out. Um, Three people. So two from Instagram, one from LinkedIn. We talk about putting everything and content on multiple platforms. You just never know. And I feel like it's a wonderful thing to have all these platforms to be able to push out this content to people.
100%. But even as those folks are reaching out to you, if they call your office, the process that you've established with your team ensures that they get the same experience as they would get from Ronnie. Like,
Okay.
obviously you got different charisma and experience, but like standardizing the way that folks enter from the outside interface with RH auto brokers, and that what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like you're talking about a different thing. So that's as far as how we developed our processes, and I have a lead broker that works to train people every week so that we can all use the same pitch, the same tone of helping people instead of selling people. Yeah, they're all trying to do the same thing, but they, like you said, they have their own charisma, their own sales knowledge, their own um, unique personalities that they can apply to it. We don't want robots; we want critical thinkers. But yeah, the core value of the company stays intact from broker to broker on what we're actually doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's something that can't go over anyone's head as a entrepreneur, because it's like the more that digital footprint is really foundationally established, once that spigot turns on of folks understanding who you are and that volume comes, if you don't have the infrastructure, the capacity to keep up with that demand, it will sink you. So like that piece again, that can't be divorced from this conversation that we're having about digital identity, because the tidal wave comes when you're truly putting out value.
Yeah, and you don't want to plug a water hose up to a fire hydrant. People don't know that or don't talk about it enough. I remember people telling me they wanted to get me to be number one on Google, and I was like, "What do you want me to do with that?" Like, if I'm number one on Google, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of people that dislike me because I can't get back to all of those people. I can't sell to everybody, and so it's a thought process I've had for a very long time. Is like how much of that faucet can I turn on that I can handle, or like you said, have an infrastructure to handle it. You could use another stream of another thought process. It's like that's a good problem to have, but you do need to identify it based on the infrastructure that you currently have. Like, if I can afford to pay 50 salespeople, then it's okay to have 50 leads a day. But I worry about that. Like, it's like I want the authority, but I'm not looking to be taking phone calls, you know, every hour on the hour all day long. I'm looking to grow a team if that happens, and maybe turn it down. And that's something I haven't experienced. So we would have to. I don't have anything to give on that as far as how you scale that type of infrastructure, spending money like payroll, all of those things. I mean, that stuff comes into play.
And obviously that's what I do. So that's why we're talking about it, because it's a key element of brand integrity, because we spend this time again establishing a digital footprint which establishes demand for the value that's provided. And now you got all of these folks showing up to get more of what has been provided, and all of a sudden they just reach constraint where it's like, oh, there's too much demand, so I can't even get my, and now they just moving on to the next person. So like all of that stuff flows together in order for us to truly build brands that can keep up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot, man. I mean, I think the beginning is finding your niche. So you're actually talking to people you want to talk to, and then trying to ratchet that up so that you get as many leads as possible for your infrastructure. And then I would say they need to hire a business coach like you to help them scale and grow their business with the increased demand.
Right. Or just kind of be thinking about it in advance, because
Yeah.
you know, we're not out here acting in our businesses with the intent of not growing.
Right.
So since we are doing this stuff to grow, then it naturally and logically makes sense to plan for said growth.
I mean, it also makes perfect sense to plan your automobile's life cycles, but
Right. Touche.
yeah, the logical common sense things escape a lot of us, including myself, on a daily basis because we're too busy operating in them.
Right.
So sometimes you need somebody to point it out.
Touche. 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 And speaking of that, that's what this week has been for me, bro. So I told you I had the training for the contract that I'm starting, well, that I've started now.
Hmm.
And it's just been about learning the internal ways of how they do things,
Hmm.
which, when you think about the auto industry, everything is pretty much like it's standardized, but different people call different things.
Yep.
And that's kind of what it is on this side. So learning the lingo of what they call things and how they frame things and how they've structured the infrastructure, like that has been so refreshing, because what I've recognized is, with me being my only real accountability partner, you know, I'm pushing myself as much as I'm pushing myself. However, there's always going to be a limitation on how much that I'm truly, truly going to push myself. Whereas when there's an outside accountability infrastructure, it's a different kind of. So we've Ronnie, we've spoken about how valuable that it is to lead with questions as opposed to statements, but I still constantly find myself in a space of telling instead of asking. And this week, just hearing that continuing to be reinforced of, it doesn't matter how much that you know. When you come in telling, you're creating a barrier unnecessarily for yourself that you then are going to have to overcome. Whereas when you're leading with the questions that forces upon self-reflection, those questions do a lot of the work. And when it comes to change management.
Yeah.
And so again, it's like just being confronted with that. I've been confronted with these things all week, and it's been like I said, when you asked me earlier when we were talking during pre-production, it's it's been spectacular, bro.
Yeah, I like that. Lead with questions, no doubt.
Right. So stop telling, start asking. Like when
Yeah,
you're telling somebody something, it's like, who are you to be telling me anything? Like, why should I listen to you?
yeah.
Whereas when it's a question, it's like, oh, I never thought about that before.
I
That
guess it also
actually is.
lets the other person know that they're valuable as well.
Touche, touche, touche. Yeah, man. So in that, one of the things that's super exciting is to get the opportunity to work with a team of folks. So they have a business development team that specifically focuses on marketing strategy from top to bottom and really maximizing brand awareness
Hmm.
to drive revenue growth. So with me coming in as a project director, I'm doing my part as far as setting the tone of what the priorities are and keeping the client engaged and in ownership of the direction that's happening,
Yeah.
because I'm only there for a period of time, and the measure of my effectiveness is how well that they're able to maintain these things when I'm no longer there. So
Mhm.
like it's really engaging with them in a way where they're taking ownership of the full implementation. Well, in doing that, that requires a lot of engagement and time. So to have a team of business development folks that specifically focus on that alone. So I may be working with the sales manager on understanding the KPIs that determine what good looks like. But while I'm coaching them on that piece, the actual strategy that's going to be implemented is being designed by folks that specifically focus on doing that all day long with small businesses.
That's cool. Cool, man. And
Yeah.
you start Monday?
Yeah, I'm flying out on Sunday. Yep.
What
And
state?
to Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll be there till Thursday, and then I'll be back here Thursday evening. So yeah,
Nice.
we'll be able to film on schedule next week. But after that, then it's we'll work through what that looks like. But yeah, it's like I said, it's an exciting time because ultimately what this is doing is creating a different level of accountability for me, which is I need it. Like I want that. I want to be held to a standard that forces me to continue to grow, as
Okay.
opposed to allowing the different whims, the different things to slow down progress in any way.
Roger that.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad
So,
you got that going for yourself. I mean, it ought to be good for your company, and it'll also be good for your clients if you're getting that knowledge from that corporate America people. You can bring it back to small businesses.
already. Which brings us to our school communities, man. Like
Yeah.
that's been an exciting conversation with you because you're building your school community, I'm building my school community. There's so much to be learned from, because it's to your point, you said it's people that are selling courses on on building a school community.
Yeah, they are. That's the whole community.
So it's a whole bunch of strategies out there um, for the school community piece. What have been some of the kind of takeaways that you've picked up in your research of what constitutes an effective school community?
I think that, once I go live, which will probably be later today, I'm still need to finish my artwork for the banner and my avatar and maybe brush up on the about part, like what you'll get by joining me. Um, from what I've learned so far and what I think I know, which is nothing. Um, they want owners of these schools to show up and be there and engage with people on a regular and consistent basis, which is exciting for me. Like if I can talk to people and help them on their journey to becoming a better auto broker or building out their business and share with them the pitfalls that they need to watch out for. Um, Nobody was there for me, so I feel like it's awesome if someone wants me to help them. I'm like, yo, this is what I did. This was the result, and this is what I learned from it. What you choose to do is still going to be yours, like you said. I don't want to just tell them what to do, but I think that's exciting. So that's what I've learned so far. And once I activate this thing, then I can start sharing the link with the people who've been reaching out to me and invite them to join and then start the journey.
100%. Are you planning on building a course through it as well?
I haven't gotten that far. I would love to build a course, but I'll tell you that building courses does not light my fire. It's not something, I had no dreams to write out course material for people. But if there's a way to make it easy and I can figure it out, then yeah, I'll probably do it. But right now, I'm going to show up for people like once a week, I believe. Have you figured that out for yourself? Like, how often are you going to show up where you're like this and you've got 15 of them in the room asking questions? How much time can you give on a monthly basis?
Yeah, so I'm planning on an hour and a half per week. And that's going to start once I get into my travel routine and I know what that looks like, then I'll pick the time that works best for my schedule and and obviously do the due diligence to make sure that it makes sense, makes the most sense for my audience. But yeah, just taking it from there.
I might even do it late on Friday, like 3 or 4 o'clock, because a lot of these folks, if you're starting out and they want to build a business, they're actively working jobs. So like, maybe I'll give them an opportunity to do something later or even later, like 6 or 7, when they're all home and they have the opportunity to talk. But I don't think I'll find that out until I have a group of people that I can poll, like what times seem to work. That's one way of thinking of it. Or I could just be like, I'm gonna be there at 2 o'clock, show up or not,
Right. And I think more or less that's how it's going to start for me, because like I was sharing with you, with all of the traveling that I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be going live quite frequently and just talking about, business and different things that are happening with clients. But as those conversations are being had, it'll be like directing traffic to the lives that I have, and the people that show up will, show up, and that'll grow and it'll funnel into the community. Ultimately, that's the strategy. That's the game plan.
I'm pretty excited about it. There's a lot of people out there building live communities. I've actually been in some of them, listening and learning from them. And it's exciting. Like, and it's like some of them are dads and some of them are moms. And it's like, wow, these folks have passion for what they're talking about. And people are showing up and engaging with them and they're answering questions and having a good time. And I think that would probably make me happy as well. So the making money from it, who knows? If we can monetize it, great. But that's not the sole reason why I want to do it.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely not my sole reason either. My primary reason for pursuing this is the sense of and importance of community, right? Like building, it's 8 billion people in this world. I don't need to connect with everybody, but the people that's on what I'm on, as far as building businesses that have market value, that can either be sold or are going to establish generational wealth for a family, like folks that are serious about doing that, those are the folks that I want to be immersed with, like the dogs. I want to be around those folks.
I didn't even think about that. I've been in this bubble in my office for 30 years with absolutely no community. of people who are doing the same thing or attempting to do the same thing or want to do the same thing. So you just gave me another reason to do it. It's like, talking to somebody in California or Texas or wherever that's like, here's what I'm going through. It's like, okay, great thought processes and, good energy can come from that. So that's great. That's something I hadn't even thought about.
Yeah. No, that's my primary driver, bro. Like, and with all that's going on in the world, I'm not going to get into those details or anything, but it's a lot that's happening. So I think that community, like really building community, is at an all-time high in importance. Like
Interesting.
actually connecting people and seeing through the nonsense by focusing on the things that unite us. You know what I mean? Like that piece is very, very, very important. So like that's my primary driver, bro, is building a community of people that are forward focused. And you know what I mean? Again, building those, we building businesses, baby, because as we build businesses, we build community. As small business owners, you are employing people from here in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
Those folks that you are employing here in Colorado Springs are taking the checks that you pay them and they're spending it here in Colorado Springs. Like that is a part of the ecosystem and it is critical and essential to the ecosystem. When we don't have small businesses that have the ability to employ our communities, then we get subject to the corporate piece. Did you hear the reporting on Oracle sending out an email laying off 30,000 people?
I did not.
So
what's that all about?
Well, I mean, the economy is doing what the economy is doing. So like we're going to unfortunately see a lot of that more than likely.
You think it's the economy and not AI?
Well, it's a combination. It's a combination of both. To be quite honest, what my read on the situation is during COVID, the government was giving away so much money to corporations and businesses that these corporations hired a bunch of people because they had the money to do it.
Okay.
And they didn't really need them. So now with AI being introduced, because AI is far from perfect. And if you're not using it properly, then it will cause damage.
Yeah.
So I think that now this is kind of like a realignment from the folks that overhired during COVID and just been floating a heavy payroll and not increasing the value of that return for the payroll going out. So now it's like, all right, this is an opportunity to use AI and the economy, because these are legitimate forces, but it justifies again, 30,000 people in an email. You know what I mean? Like you can't do stuff like that without having something to be able to pin on to. And I think that's what a lot of these corporations are doing.
Great. For those 30,000 people, this is the perfect time to reinvent yourself and build an authority online. I think that, I was looking at a news article this week, video, and it was this lady who's in her 50s, and she had never had a problem with a corporate job until she turned 50. And so she's putting out this, we get proud of it. Like I've only used my resume. I don't have one, but like I had a resume that was like one piece of paper back in 1993, like I think that's the last time I had a resume. I didn't have one, so, but what I found from that video was very interesting. Their corporations are using AI to analyze the resumes. And that if you have all of your stuff in there, the AI is able to determine what age you are. And then the people looking at it, now this is probably illegal. I'm not saying I'm doing it. Like I want to make that clear. But what I gleaned from the video is they're like, oh, they got a lot of qualifications. They got all this stuff. They're going to cost us more. The healthcare costs are going to be more. We're not hiring these people. So they're actually like, there was this in the interview, this lady was like a coach for people, and she was saying you might need to lie on your resume, like take down your information, what you're able to do, because they can't ask you your age,
Right.
but they can use that information, like, all of this experience you have. There's no way you're not 55 years old. Like, it's no way. You've been working there. Okay. You did that for 25 years. It's like, okay, right. So, I'm not making a thing about it or trying to champion it or anything. Here's the takeaway I'm giving people today. If you're part of this Oracle thing that he was talking about, 30,000 people laid off, you're in your 50s, the best time to plant a tree is today. Start building an online community or working on your digital profile so that you don't need to worry about a corporate job. You can replace your corporate job sitting at home talking to people.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. Like, and I believe it to be true, not because it's not even a belief, it's concluded. Like, there are people at home doing this every day, getting paid. We're like 10 years late, a decade late to the game, So I think that the folks out there that are watching the economy do what it's going to do, and how AI is taking over this or that or whatever, it's just how you look at it. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to be free from a corporate job and building something that you can call your own legitimately and build a legacy and a life that you actually enjoy waking up to do every day. That's it. Mic drop.
Absolutely. And understanding that all of the big names and brands that we know, they started with an audience of one, the visionary.
Including Coca-Cola and all of them. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I feel excited about this school thing, especially after talking today, because I forgot about the community thing. Like, talking to other people that want to talk about the things that I like talking about is a wonderful place for me to be. And I can even learn from these younger folks that want to learn from me. I mean, it's just one of those things, right? Isn't there a saying, like, you can't help anybody without, in essence, helping yourself? Like, you go out and coach these businesses and you're leaving those meetings with new ideas, or you think about something that you've been slacking on that you need to tighten up. Whether it's your speaking skills or handwriting, I mean, whatever. Like, it's always great to be in a community of people who want to be positive and move forward, because that stuff is infectious, and you are going to win. If you're in a room with a lot of people that want to win, we're going to win. Yep. There's just no doubt. Guaranteed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bro, that's why when I was speaking about how this week was just so refreshing to the spirit, is because I was talking about stuff that, like, I'm a nerd about.
Yeah. It lights you up. Yeah. You can lose time of the day. You'll talk for 6 hours. Yeah. I find myself doing that in the stinking car business, but it's just because it's in my DNA. It's that, I made a video this week about what we're talking about, like why you would do something. And, the video was directed at auto brokers or, up and coming auto brokers or people who want to scale. And I was like, the first thing I said is, you got to find something to fall in love with that's not making money. If you're only in love with making money, I don't think it's a sustainable way to scale a business and build it. Maybe unless you're a casino. You know what I mean?
But not
they
even
aren't in love with that either. They're in love with hospitality. Like, how did the client's experience happen? They already know they're getting the money, but they're in love with different things. Like, it's probably one of the best places to learn hospitality, hotels and stuff. But yeah, man. So I was just trying to tell any broker that would listen, that's great that you want to get in this business. Why? Is it solely to make money? All right. You can flip a couple of cars and you'll be out of business soon. And your attention, there's nothing to wake up for. There's nothing to be excited about or lead you to happiness. That's the whole goal, is find out what's going to make you happy. And if you can't find that, you got to keep looking for it until you do get it.
because in the pursuit of chasing a dream, there inevitably are going to be adversities that we face. And if that why is not strong enough, then that will be the differentiator in those who continue to endure versus those who cave to the pressure. Like pressure bust pipes. Again, like I mentioned, with all of the big brands, they started with one person that
Yeah.
had a vision, and they had such a strong conviction to their vision when no one else could see it, when everybody else was like, that person is crazy, right? Like they're sleeping in their car because they've been evicted and all these other things. You can't see what that person can see. And by the time that you can see what they can see, you're
Yeah.
not seeing them no more because they live in a whole different life.
Yeah. I mean, and that's about building this, if you apply that to what we're talking about in this particular podcast, it's about building brand authority online. You can see what your vision is when you're talking to people. And if you're interested in it, there is an audience for it, whether it's making suits, doing fashion, cooking, whatever it is. You can get on something like this and build your tribe.
And I would venture to say that it is essential that we do because I think one of the most dangerous societal things that can happen is for people to retreat to their silos. Like that's just is not healthy for the overall ecosystem. So
Give me an example. What are you talking about?
so it's people that on social media are consuming content that reinforces whatever it is that they think, and they're just in their silo, not talking to other people to get other perspectives.
Yeah.
And like that's dangerous. So as opposed to, because social media can be a dark place as well. So as opposed to being immersed in the darker side of it, by building a community of people that are like-minded, but also are going to challenge your conventional wisdom relative to the things that y'all collectively care about, steel sharpens steel.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's, being a thought leader and talking to people about certain convictions. When everybody's in the room saying the same thing, it's a problematic place. Like there's no growth, there's no understanding, there's no learning, there's no leveling up.
right.
And just, you're just building like something like a cult, like we're just all regurgitating it. Yeah, I think I like being challenged on my convictions especially about my business, especially about what I do every day for the past 30 years, because I'm waiting for somebody to show me a different way of doing it. And you know what's funny? When I do find them, I'll give you a great example. I used to drive up I-25 and physically go to the auction to put my hands on a Porsche or whatever it was to buy it for a customer. And I thought that was the best way to give my client the best experience they could possibly get, which, we're talking like 2003, 4, and 2005. Like I'm literally driving up and down the highway on auction day, sitting in the car. Jesse, this car smells good. This is exactly what we want, which I'm telling you, that was a very good experience for my clients. They got to be there with me. I'm getting this done. They weren't, physically with me, but they were on the phone with me. I wore a Jawbone back then. Remember those little earpieces? I don't know why they went away. I wish I could have one so I could just talk to AI, at my desk. But like,
Have you checked on Amazon?
not yet. Let me finish this story.
Yeah.
So like then what happened was technology changed in 2005 or 6. And I kept being challenged by another person in my business. They were like, "Why are you driving up there so much?" I was like, "I want to do the best job for my client." And he says, "Dude, every car has a condition report. You know exactly where every scratch is. And if we do buy the car, it gets delivered to your office. It's not what you want. we can just send it back. And I was like, damn. So I had to reinvent myself and start talking to people about these vehicles without me being there with my hands on them. But it transformed my business because it was a force multiplier. I could only go up there once a week now, and that was to one auction, the Denver Auto Auction. Now I have an auction in every state with thousands of cars at every auction. I bought 2 cars in California in 2 different locations this week. One in Fontana, one in this is one of the cities that starts with a C. I can't remember, but like now the shippers are bringing them here. But those cars both had the high condition reports that I needed. They had every box checked that I needed. Carfax reports were fine, and these vans are going to be totally fine, you know. But in the past, I wouldn't have even been able to do that because I physically, mentally thought I had to drive there and touch it in order for my client to experience the best thing. But because of somebody else, like you said earlier, because of getting other information that challenged my paradigm, I was able to break out and then level up. So bringing other people into the room and talking to them about opposing thoughts and ideas is, you know, if you know, I'll call it out. It's what the government's supposed to be, you know. But like you said, we all become in our silos. You know, we don't want to go to our silos. We want to basically you should be proud to be challenged about your business. Stand up for it. Defend your position. What do you got to say? You know, like if you don't, I'm going to question you. Like, really? You don't really, maybe I shouldn't be working with you. You're not convicted about your business. You're just going to cave. All right.
Or even worse, have a one-track mind. Because again, if you were to remain staunchly stubborn to the idea of I have to put my hands on that Porsche, then it would limit your capacity so significantly, you know, like, because that's indicative, like how you do one thing is how you do all things. Like, I don't want to say it in the absolutist of that, but just to make the point, if you're that stubborn that you're doing that with the vehicles and you're not willing to evolve, how does that manifest in other areas of your life?
Yeah, true statement. And to take it all the way to the extreme example is I believe it saved my life. I was going up and down the highway every week, 80 miles an hour, all the way to out by the airport in Denver. Literally. And it's like it's just it's a matter of time before I fall asleep or something happens or God knows what. So I feel like like I said earlier, it was a force multiplier. It was just one drop, one pivot. I think if I would have stayed one track, I would have been out of business, dude, back in 06. Because it all changed in about 07, because that's when online condition reports happened. You've probably never seen one of these, but they have this machine now at the auction. You drive your car through it and all these lights flash. It's all sensors. It takes thousands of pictures. It looks for every scratch and everything. Then it spits out a report for me. And I can look at that report and go, oh, okay, great. Like this car is exactly what we want, or I don't need it. Like this is too many scratches for me. I don't want to deal with it. And so that technology, and that's right now, that technology is going to be getting better and better and better, which has made my life completely better. I can sit right here, push a button, buy $100,000 car, and it'll be here next Tuesday. Didn't have to leave the office.
You see, and that is instructive to the point that we've continued to emphasize when it comes to AI. Like, I know that it's intimidating for some, but the way that the world is moving, there are so many advantages to learning how to leverage that as a resource, as opposed to just being fearful of it or being resistant to it as if it's not here. You know, it's like the folks that were against the internet, and all of a sudden the internet just became a whole different thing. Same thing with social media. Then it became a whole different thing. We are seeing the advancements in this AI like it was a story reported that Claude has a version of itself that broke outside of the perimeters that were set for it.
I saw
And
it today. It was too dangerous to be released.
exactly. So that's the pace in which these evolutions are happening. And if we just sitting in our silo with our arms stubbornly crossed, as if this AI is not doing what it's doing, we have the opportunity to leverage the capabilities that it produces. And if we're not, it's just like not focusing on having a digital footprint. It's self-defeating.
Yeah, or you're trying to compete with it. I mean, the days of John Henry and the railroad. I don't know if you can swing a sledgehammer that fast to surpass what's happening right now. So yeah, I'm with you. I also believe, my heart goes out to people that don't want to have anything to do with it, or they feel like it's using too much water, or guys, I don't know what to say. It's not like I wake up every day and go, I got to figure out a way to burn through all the water so I can go through AI. It's like, no, how can I be successful enough to use this stuff to advance my company and help the people around me, so then I can help the people I want to help at all times.
And ultimately, you're able to help more people when it's used right. The different releases that Claude has introduced outside of this one that just broke outside of the the limitations that they tried to establish.
Available for us yet.
Like this stuff is game changing.
Yeah.
And to be able to train my virtual assistant on how to leverage the AI, it increases my capacity to a whole different level. And as I'm thinking about balancing, because time is our most precious resource, and I'm moving into a season in which the premium on my time is going to be like, I don't have much of it to just be leisurely, not maximizing. So when I think about how the AI buys back so much of my time because I've invested in learning some of the capabilities that it brings to the table. So now I don't have to worry about these certain things. What would be time going through a bunch of emails is a summarized report that gets delivered. You know what I mean? Like yeah.
Yeah, I have my AI watching for leads for me, because I don't see all my emails, but it'll find it and it'll message me. And I even told it, when you find one of these, I want you to keep alerting me until I respond.
Right.
So it won't just forget it. Like tomorrow, it'll be the same. Did you get this yet? I'm like, okay. Dang, I missed it. Like, it's wild, because on the weekend, that's a problem. I get emails on the weekend and I don't see them. And by the time Monday comes around, there's 400 emails deep. And so, yeah, if you email me on a Friday, there's back before the AI, there's zero chance I'm seeing it. But now Eva will be like, yep, I need you to look at this. Great. Thanks, Eva. That's important. Just a little thing, like to help me be better. And that's one of the things I chase every day is, how can I be better than I was yesterday? For my clients, for my people, for my audience. Like, I want to show up. I want to be good for them. They don't need to know that Eva reminded me to call them. They're just happy that I called. I wanted to call, but our capacity and the data rate of our brain is just not there. The brain is definitely the best computer on the planet, no doubt. But the speed at which it processes is our problem. We'll figure out anything more. We can definitely figure out more things than AI. But, in order to figure out, the quantum physics and things like that, the human brain will do it. It'll take 100 years. Like, that's the difference. It's the speed in which you can compute the problems or write your essay or think of a better way to answer the question. You want to come up with a better answer. So how many times I'm gonna think about this for the weekend. Now I'm like, you know what? AI, I don't like the way I'm thinking about responding to this question. Help me go through 50 different ways that I could respond. Now I can do it in 5 minutes. And you know what? The word is and. I can respond that day with the best choice, and then I can continue to process that in my slow brain for the next 10 days. And maybe I come back and go, I really didn't like that one either, but it was much better. But now that I've gone through this, it helped me ideate a better, like, I'm going to get to the truth of what I want to say. In the past, I just forgot about it and moved on until that thing came up again and then forced me to think about it again. I find these things to be limitless of what we're able to do today. And Jesse, for the average people like us, we're trying to be business people. We're just trying to be business people, and with no unlimited budget, people can understand that you can have all of these things working for you. So answer this question: how much would that person be, Jesse? Like, you're in this space, like you hire people and fire people. What would that person cost to have on my payroll that's helping me find that email, craft my responses, write my blog? What would that cost?
See, and that's the piece this week when I talk about how I was nerding out. So we were talking about labor burden rates, which is what you're asking about. So when we start talking about the Social Security and the payroll, like all of the payroll taxes, the workers' comp, all of the different things that factor into having an employee, there's an entire there's what you pay the hourly rate, and then there's all of these incidentals that get piled on top of it.
Insurance, so everything.
Exactly. So the effective rate of what you're actually paying for an employee generally ranges up to 20% of what you're paying them. So it's like when you're sitting down and comparing that as a cost in comparison to, you said her name was Eva, that check email, right? As in comparison to Eva scanning through your email, because the person that is going through your email, they have their own like biases, they have their own processes, they have their own limitations as a human being that comes along with looking at an email box that has 3,000 emails in it, as opposed to Eva just looking at it as, well, these are the trends. So these are the things that I'm gonna put in front of Ronnie, and it just happens like simultaneous, because it
never gets tired.
Right. Right. So like paying somebody to go through 3,000 emails when you're talking about the hourly rate plus the employee burden, bruh.
And so, like, this will spark a whole argument over it's replacing somebody's job. And I would fight back. I'd be like, no, I need to hire somebody to run Eva. There's 6 AIs built into this Marbleism platform. One does, Eva is my executive assistant. Sonny's a social media person. Penny's the blog writer. Stan is the sales reach out guy. So he's actively on LinkedIn every day making connections for me. Then there's a legal associate, Linda, and then the receptionist. She actually answers my phone. Her name is Rachel. So I would tell you, like, just that, like, I would have a human managing those 6 people. So there is still a job there, but the skill sets have changed for that new employee that's on payroll. They need to know how to work those AI agents better than me and bring me value so that I can be like, yeah, you should be in the room. Thank you for getting that done. Anything else you can have Eva do for us, and then, oh yeah, I've been trained on this. I guarantee you there's going to be college courses on this. People are going to go to college for it and figure this stuff out.
Absolutely. And that is the essence of entrepreneurship, recognizing that there is a gap, that there is a problem, that there is something that can help the overall ecosystem, and plugging that demand. So to your point, prompting is absolutely going to be a premium skill set in the future, because like I mentioned before, my virtual assistant, if she couldn't like actually leverage the AI resources that we're using, she wouldn't be on my team. Like it's no space for that
Yeah.
because when I get my Marbleism account set up, I need her managing that.
Right. It's a
You know what I'm
whole
saying?
job, man. Like
Yeah,
that's a decent payroll job. Like,
right.
what's next? What's the contents calendar look like? Do you got Penny working on this? Like, I find it fascinating that people fight back against this. I'm like, dude, like you're gonna be left behind.
Yeah. It's
My
like,
heart goes out to them. I'm brokenhearted over it. I'm like, guys, you can improve your client experience and help so many more people.
or
So
be stubborn and stuck.
I fear that. Like, I try to like I've gotten stuff out of this podcast today. Lead with questions. I just learned that from you. That maybe I do it, maybe I don't, but now I'm focused on it. And then um, the community and the value it brings to me. I was thinking about showing up for them, but I'm like, ooh, Jesse, you're right. Like I got a tribe of people that are like. It reminds me of when I went to like a self improvement entrepreneur convention, and I'm in the room with all these people. We're all saying the same thing, and certain people are here and there and all over the room. Everybody can learn from everybody in the room.
Right.
Humans together, right? And I ain't even talking about AI, but like that was a fascinating statement you made earlier. That it excited me more. I'm definitely going live with my school account today. So it'll be later today. Maybe I'll see you later. We'll hit the button together or something because
Yeah.
I want to get my artwork. Done is better than perfect, Ronnie. So I'll get something done.
Say that
And
again, bro. Say that
done,
again.
done is better than perfect.
Yes.
So I
Bars.
don't think anything I do is ever good enough for me. So like, but done will be better than perfect, and I'll get it launched today.
Yeah. No, that's bars, bro. Like that's a whole clip. We could take that and use that in the media, to plug it in there.
All right. Yeah, I apologize for my energy today. I mean, I think it's the clouds are in and I'm fine. I just know that my energy is not 100%. I'm probably running about 85% today.
Not so. I mean, I didn't pick up on that, but
That's what I
yeah,
feel like.
nah, not. But I get exactly what you're saying because I feel the same. So, like I was telling you in pre-production,
4
this
hours of
week
sleep.
I have
Yeah.
not exceeded over 4 hours of sleep this week, and it's just been kind of catching it where I can, and what is like energizing me right now is like we talking about stuff that I care about. You know what I'm saying? Like this stuff lights me up on the inside, which is why, going back to the beginning of this, when you mentioned like, maybe we can just text with each other once a week to, check in to make sure that we doing the things that we say we want to do on the brand identity piece. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, shit, let's take it a step further, bro.
Yeah, that's what you did. Yeah. So that's how this all started. I was like, yeah, just text me and say how you doing. And then he had this whole podcast put together in 4 days. And here we are. That's also a beautiful thing, like about being in your own silo. Like, like there's one thinking about being in your own silo. You're only listening to yourself. But then there's also like that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to be on a podcast with a person that's so much younger than me. Because I feel like you bring a different energy to the level. Your skill set, you got me using Asana. I'm like, I don't know how to use that. I'm old. I'm like, I don't know how to use that. I mean, I'm picking up on it, but I feel like it's definitely nice to have somebody else in the room with the kind of energy you have. I'm like, this is great. I'm gonna learn something here.
Right. And that's one of the things. And as a matter of fact, you and I got to chop it up about some of the things that are coming up with the Black Chamber of Commerce. But
All right.
that's one of the things that excites me about collaborating with like the Black student unions, for example, because those kids out there that are learning the different things that they're learning in college, what is lacking is the context of like how life fits around those things that they're learning, or
Yeah.
vice versa. And I'm so looking forward to exactly what you're describing, where it's being around these young, talented kids that got different view perspectives because they've grown up in the world as like I am so thankful that I lived more of my life than the latter without the cell phones and the YouTubes and the internet and social media and all of those things, because I'm grounded in life, like actually experiencing life. These younger kids grew up under different circumstances, so they see the world differently, and I want to hear that. Like
And
I
they
want
they
to
got skills too though, dude. Like one of my
100%.
clients was 19. He called me, this was like 6 or 7 months ago. And we're going through the process of getting him, we ended up buying him a brand new car. He makes beats. He just got a record deal in LA. He's like behind the scenes in the lab, he produces beats. And I was like, I want to hear what you're doing. Like, this is exciting. I know I have my genres and stuff I like, but I'm open-minded to listening to it. Like, what's up?
Right.
And there's a whole market for that. So like, if a 19-year-old kid can be in his basement in Colorado Springs making beats that he thinks sound good, and it gets enough attention that he gets signed out in LA, it just reinforces what we're talking about. If you're interested in it, there's an audience for it. There is. So whoever you are out there listening to this, get yourself together and start building content today.
Because again, your digital footprint becomes your greatest asset.
Yep.
Like it excites me to think about what the next 5 to 10 years looks like, because God willing, health sustaining, and all of those things that are outside of my control, I'm going to continue to be putting myself out on the internet and on all of these different platforms. And I understand that, again, in that 5 to 10 year time period, it's going to grow to a space where people are actually like, man, I actually want to hear what's coming next, because all of that. Go ahead.
It's getting applied daily. Like James Cameron, the director, you know who he is, right? He made Avatar. He made the Aliens 2, the one we all loved, where, what are we going to do now? Like, game over, man. Like that one a long time ago. He made Terminator. And they talked to him about Avatar. He wanted to make Avatar. That came out in like 2008 or something like that. But he wanted to make it 10 years before. But what he was waiting on was the technology to be able to capture it like he wanted to capture it. He talked about it. He's like, technology's not there yet, but script's done. I'm ready to go. I need the technology to get better. So he ran off and made the Titanic thing, which turned into the Titanic movie. And he started diving, and they got a whole submarine built out of it because he wanted to dive down there. Like, and now we got 2 more Avatars and a couple more coming. Like you just said it, like, I can't wait to see what happens next. Like, his thinking was, I know it's coming. I'm going to go ahead and so don't wait, right? Get prepared. Maybe you don't deploy this in your lab. You're like, I got this ready. I'm just waiting for this to pop off and I'm going to release this thing. And that made $2 billion in 2008. Now they won't even make an Avatar movie if they don't think it'll make $2 billion. Crazy, right?
It is. No, but and that's why I love these conversations and what this platform is designed to deliver, because ultimately we all are one handshake away from things foundationally changing for us. Like I truly believe in that.
Yeah.
And by having an online presence, the probability of that handshake happening a lot faster exponentially increases because you're in front of that many more people that, as opposed to that handshake that then has to be nurtured into that true opportunity, that initial handshake from the person that's been following you is a whole different handshake because they know who you are and they have bought into you.
I love it. I'm on board.
Absolutely.
Hope you guys are too.
Absolutely. With that, this has been another episode of the Authority Hour. We are gracious and thankful for your attention as we continue to press and endure. Thank you for joining.
All right. See you guys next week.
All right.